Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, from wherever you're joining us from. We're super excited to have you. This is another edition of the Women Techsters Open Day event. This is the 8th edition we're having in the year 2022. Over the past few months, we've had amazing women come share their experiences on the event, and experiences that are authentic, experiences that we can learn from, experiences that have helped a lot of young women make informed decisions about their career lives in the tech space. We're super glad to have you, and we'd like to know where you're joining us from. So I'm just going to enable the chat box so that you can use it. So what I want to say on the chat box is your name and where you're joining us from. That's country. My name is Tony Oladeji, and I'm hosting you from Nigeria, right? So I just want to get to meet all the ladies on the call today. Just put your name and where you're joining us from. You can use the chat box so that I can read it out and get to know you. So I have been Folua from Nigeria. You're welcome. Onye from Nigeria. I have Clarion joining in from Kenya. It's great to meet you. Lerato from South Africa. Lerato coincidentally bears a similar name to one of our panelists today. We're so glad to have you, Lerato, on the call. We have Josephine from Nigeria, Toyosi from Nigeria, Jo from Kenya. We're super excited to have you all on the call today. Keep it coming. I'm going to be reading it. And just in case you want to express yourself, you want to come up the call so we can see your face, you can just raise your hand. And I'm just going to allow you, introduce yourself for a few minutes. So if you want to do that, you can raise your hand, and so I'll just allow you to talk. And you can introduce yourself, your name, and where you're joining us from. So we have Mercy from Kenya, Jane from Kenya. It's a great pleasure to meet all of you on the call. I can promise you that you're going to have an amazing time on the call today. And just a quick reminder, if you have a friend, a sister, a colleague, anybody that you probably know had registered to attend the event, and you think that, oh, maybe they're not here yet, you might just want to drop them a message that the event has started. It's going to be an engaging and interesting session here today. So I can see that nobody wants to speak. Hopefully that's fine. I'll just read out. Elisa from Mozambique, great to meet you. Cindy from Nigeria. While I might not be able to take every one of you, I just want to say welcome once again, and we're super glad to have you on the call today. So in a few minutes, I'll be handing over to our programs lead at Tech for Dev, Women Techsters Initiative Programs lead. Her name is Blessing Ashi, and she'll just be giving you a few words just to welcome you on the call. But just before that, I'm going to allow Kafila Lawal, just tell us where she's joining from. Hi, Kafila.
Yeah, hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Kafilat Lawal, joining from Saudi.
Saudi, hi, great to have you on the call. Hi, Saudi today.
Well, very fine, very fine. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you for speaking. Okay, so I'll be asking Blessing Ashi to come on the call and just give her opening remarks. Hi, Blessing.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Good afternoon from Nigeria. My name is Blessing Ashley, and I am super excited to have everyone join us this afternoon. To our amazing speakers today. Good afternoon to you. Thank you for taking out time from your very, very busy schedule to be a part of the Women Techsters Open Day. Guess what? The Open Day, this is the eighth open day we are having in 2022. I mean, it's been amazing. We've had lots of women across different learning pathway show up every last Thursday of the month, and it's been very, very, very insightful learning from these women. I know that looking at the Women Techsters Fellowship and Women Techsters Bootcamp that is currently running, we've seen the impact of the Women Techsters Open Day. We've had lots of women testify as to how the impact from the program has spurred them up to chart a career in tech. And that's very, very interesting for us to know as an organization at Tech for Them. So we'd like to welcome you all to the August edition of the Women Techsters Open Day. I believe that everyone attending have expectations. I believe that you have some of the things you hope that the speakers will be meeting. I know that your expectations will be met. I mean, I can validate that your expectations will be met. And I would like to say a very big thank you once again for joining us. Should you know someone who had signed up for the open day today and is currently not on board, you might want to reach out to them to inform them to join in. Should you have maybe sisters, female friends who really need to be a part of the program right now, you can share your screen with them and ask them to join you as well. That's also very, very important. I can see that we have lots of people join, even I mean, outside of the 15 countries. I can see that we have people from the UK. I can see we have people from Saudi. And yeah, I know that you're in for an amazing, amazing, amazing time. So we are committed as an organization to ensuring that we have seasoned speakers every month. We are committed to ensuring that our programs are worth the while for every individual. And I thought to mention that the Women Techsters Bootcamp 2.1 is currently out, and it would be great for you to sign up, especially if you are thinking of starting up a career in tech and you don't know where to start. The Women Techsters Bootcamp is a great place to start. I did not intend to give a long speech, so I would like to draw the curtain here. I want to believe that you have your notepad, you have every form of writing material, you have your mind, which is very important as well. You have steady internet as well to follow through on this journey today. So come along, let's take it together. So it gives me great pleasure every single open day to welcome the next person that will be speaking after me. And trust me when I say this person is an amazing person. And I'm really, really delighted to do this every time of the month. So yeah, allow me to welcome on board our quintessential executive director at Tech for Them. Ladies, can I see your excitement as we welcome our executive director, Olajibura Oladipo, speaker, speech. Hello, Dura. It's good to have you.
Hi, Blessing. How are you doing? Every time you do this, I just find it very interesting because I'm like, oh, that's so extra, but it's fine. Thank you so much, Blessing. It's always a pleasure to be here. Hi, ladies. Good afternoon from Lagos, Nigeria. I am super glad and always excited to speak with every one of you during every open day that it is that we have. I want to say a very huge welcome to everyone, and I'll say thank you for joining the August 2022 edition of our virtual Women Techsters Open Day program. And as Blessing and Toyin had mentioned, this is our 8th Open Day edition for 2022. We are most always elated and excited. I saw in the chat section women from Ethiopia, from the UK, from Saudi, and from other parts of the world that is not essentially the 15 African countries we're in. I'm excited to have all you wonderful women from across Africa and beyond join us today and learn about how to pursue your interest in technology. I would love to always welcome the prospective women techsters who have joined us today, who want to learn about starting a career in technology through our Open Day program. In my usual style, I love to use this avenue to provide some updates on the progress we've made through our other Women Techsters sub-programs. Earlier this month, we kickstarted our Women Techsters Bootcamp 2.1, where we had over 7,000 applications from across 15 African countries. And after a short, rigorous selection process, we admitted 1,882 women into the bootcamp class. The classes are still currently ongoing and will be wrapping up soon. But then I'm most excited to announce again that we have applications for the Bootcamp 2.2 that has just opened up. I think it was just yesterday or 2 days ago. And that we hope that many more women will join in to kickstart their careers in technology. On the 1st of August this year, our Women Techsters Fellowship Class of 2023 kickstarted with a 2-week orientation program where we had 1,200 plus fellows from across 15 African countries. These 15 African countries are Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, Egypt, South Africa, DR Congo, Algeria, South Sudan, Ethiopia, Mozambique, Madagascar, Morocco, Uganda, Angola, and Tanzania. And these wonderful fellows were exposed to 54 amazing and awesome speakers who shared insights around how the fellows could brace themselves for the 1-year-long journey ahead and what to expect from the fellowship. Classes kickstarted fully 2 weeks ago across the following learning tracks: software development, blockchain, product design, product management, mobile development, 3D animation and mixed reality, cybersecurity, data science, and artificial intelligence. And the fellows have been having and sharing the most awesome insights around their learning journey across social media platforms. If you're on Instagram or Twitter or on LinkedIn, you would always see one Women Techsters fellow or the other dropping some interesting golden nuggets on what they are learning within the fellowship program, as the fellowship program is just like 2 weeks old. But let me start by saying that Tech for Dev is a non-profit organization. And the core of the work that we do is that we create access to decent work and entrepreneurship opportunities and platforms for Africans. And we do this through digital skills and technology skills empowerment and advocacy. Our vision as an organization is to equip Africans with digital and life skills that foster economic prosperity, financial freedom, and sustainable development. The Women Techsters program is an initiative of Tech for Dev that aims to bridge the digital divide between men and women in the technology ecosystem. Through our pilot program, the Nigerian Women Techsters, we enabled almost 3,000 women across the ages of 16 to 40 across Nigeria. And we did this to ignite their interest in pursuing careers and businesses in technology. Driven by the success story of numerous women on the program, Tommy, Patience, Fatima, we carved a new ambition and dream to replicate this model across Africa, providing more women access to opportunities to launch careers and businesses in technology. Our grand dream by 2030 is to reach 5 million women in Africa by empowering them with the knowledge and skills to partake in the technology industry in Africa, and as well as providing them opportunities to access employment and entrepreneurship. This would help to achieve a 50-50 male to female ratio balance within the technology space. The Women Techsters Open Day, which is the reason why we are here, of course, is a monthly virtual program organized for women across Africa to learn about leveraging the power of technology to start and advance their careers and also create technology and technology-enabled businesses. The Open Day program is an opportunity for women to interact with other successful women, like the women we have on the call today, who will be listening to shortly, who have built careers or businesses in technology over the years. And they will be sharing their personal experiences. They'll be speaking about possible career paths and business opportunities. And they will help the women who are on this call today, all of us, appreciate the importance of acquiring digital and deep tech skills in this digital age. We continue, and I will not end this without appreciating our most amazing partners. We appreciate Microsoft, the Islamic Development Bank, and Central Bank of Egypt for collaborating with us to bring this initiative to life this year. And we look forward to continually impacting and improving the economic realities of women across Africa. I would like to say once again that I appreciate every single woman who is here today. As you come here to kickstart or commence your journey in becoming women in tech. I know that this is sort of like a starting ground for you, but I'm sure and excited to tell you that you're in for magic today, as we have very amazing women here who are going to be telling you stories of their journeys as women in tech. I would like to say a big thank you to our guest speakers, Arena, Busola, Thelma, and Wurola, and our wonderful moderator, Lerato, for taking time out of their very busy schedules. And trust me, these women are very busy women in their own right, doing like exceptional stuff within their spaces in tech. And I say that thank you so much to everyone for being here today. I'm sure you're here for a ride, and I look forward to a wonderful conversation. Thank you very much, and I look forward to just listening to the wonderful conversation here. Over to you, Toyi.
Thank you so much, Deborah. Just like Deborah said, we have amazing women that are going to be sharing their stories that they are going to learn greatly from, right? So it's important that you pay close attention, jot down important points that stand out for you. And not just jotting them down, it's important that you also share them on social media, right? So in a short while, I'll be sharing the hashtags that you can use to share the lessons you'll be learning from the event on your social media platform. But before that, I'd like to play a short video for each and everyone on the call. And this is important because you'll get to understand what the Women Techsters Initiative is all about and how that can change your life. So I'm going to be sharing that video shortly. Please give me a minute so I can share that. Just a minute, ladies. I'll be sharing this shortly. A little bit of internet challenges over here. Blessing, but if you can help locate that, help us share from your end to be great.
Okay, so Tony is getting on the video, but while she's at it, we'd like to welcome everybody who is joining in. Don't worry, you're not seeing anything yet. We'll play the video in a bit. I can see that we have Anyton from Kano. I can see that we have Alimat from Osun State. It's good to have you. I can see that we have, I'm just trying to welcome everyone who we have on board. Yes, I agree with you that my gender is blessed. To be a woman is a big blessing. So yes, we have the video.
There's an African proverb that says that when you train a woman, you train a nation. When you train a woman has the ability to provide some sort of like 3x on ROI or whatever training it is that you give to a woman. If the training is meant to provide some sort of financial freedom, for example, for the woman, which is the case of the Women Techsters, we believe that women are able to then provide for their families, which then immediately also allows for the family's income generation to impact that of their immediate community or impact that of the nation. The problem we're trying to solve when we initiated the Women Techsters program is being able to bring women to partake within the opportunities that exist within the technology ecosystem and actually finding a balance, which is having more women join the ecosystem to be able to both partake of the opportunities and also be able to contribute to the industry.
By 2030, we want 5 million women to be empowered with technical skills
Hello, everyone. Hi, we seem to have a glitch in the system. We're trying to get Toyin back to reconnect. Okay, I think we have her back. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you so much, Lerato. Interestingly, the internet logged both I and my colleague out, right? So apologies to everyone. We'll just go straight ahead. I'll introduce the speakers for today's session, and after that, we'll watch the video again. And I'll be sure to send in the recordings of the events as well as attach the video links, right? So that everybody can get to learn a thing or few from it. Thank you, Lerato, for taking over for the meantime. Appreciate you. So we have amazing women on this call today, as I've earlier stated, and one of them is Orina Dorothy. Orina is an extended reality developer and software engineer. She's enthusiastic about tapping the potential of augmented reality to revolutionize every aspect of society, from education to politics, business, and social relations. She's skilled in 2D and 3D games design, scripting, and development. Morena will be sharing our experiences in the 3D field today. And if you're interested in that aspect, or you probably do not have any idea about what 3D and augmented reality is about, you just might want to stay tuned. We also have Thelma DK on the call today. Thelma is a product designer with over 5 years of experience designing interfaces across the web and mobile platforms. She has excellent skills in UX, research, and visual design. She currently works with the amazing team at Cheaper Cash. In Thelma's free time, you can find her traveling, exploring nature, and capturing its awesomeness. We also have on the call today Uraola Oyewusi. Uraola is a pharmacist and data scientist, a passionate professional committed to advancing artificial intelligence practice. She is currently a researcher, a data science and data curation at Imperial College London. And she previously led research and innovation at Data Science Nigeria. So data science enthusiasts, we have Uraola on the call for you today, as well as Thelma Dike, an expert in product design. We also have on the call today Oluwabusola Adeleke. Oluwabusola is an experienced lead software engineer with a demonstrated history of working in the marketing, advertising, and banking industry. She's skilled in analytical and Microsoft Word, English, and teamwork. She has strong engineering skill with a certification focused in artificial intelligence from Google Analytics Academy. Moderating this session today with these amazing speakers is Lerato Matabata. I hope I got that correctly. So Lerato is currently the director for the energy and manufacturing team at Microsoft South Africa. Her core role being to ensure customers have the most valuable relationship with Microsoft and execute the vision of empowering enterprise customers, driving business growth and digital transformation. There you have it, ladies. We have experts in their various fields here to share from their learning experiences over the past few years that they have gained in their tech journey with everyone on this call. I do hope you have an amazing time and get to learn greatly from this session. Don't forget to jot down nuggets from this session and ensure that you post them on social media. In the chat box, I'll be dropping hashtags that you can use to tag us on your post, just so that we can also repost and get to reach a wider audience of women. Over to you, Lerato.
Great. Thank you so much, Toyin. It's a pleasure to be in this webinar today and talking to these powerful women on the panel. I'm really excited to join you and also to hear from you myself. I say you never stop learning in your journey in this careers that we're building, and I know that I'm going to learn so much from our panelists as well. So thank you so much for that. And today, this is an interesting topic for myself as well. I'm always curious around how we're helping other women come into these careers and think about the decision processes and the challenges that lie ahead when they're making decisions in technology careers. And today we're going to talk about that, what that experience looks like, and also the necessary skills and factors to be considered when you are thinking about careers in technologies, or perhaps you already have a career in technology and you want to be more successful in your endeavors. And I know that these ladies will be bringing the experience, the processes that they went through and their journey to really help you, to empower you in your own journeys. So thanks again for that. And without any further delays, I'm going to ask our panelists, and I'm going to start with Thelma because I am looking straight at you from my screen, to describe to us what your role is and what the day in the role that you have is, being a senior product designer at Chipakesh. We're curious, what does that entail? Can you share that with us?
Okay, thank you everyone. So in a day in my life, on a day-to-day actually varies. So on some days, let me say a typical day would be me joining team meetings, aligning with my PMs, aligning with key stakeholders on what we are looking to build, and then trying to get some time to design the solution, and also find out time to present the solution to stakeholders to get their buy-in. Other days, it can be me spending a lot of time with users, so having user interviews, speaking to, liaising with our researchers to kind of build out the best survey that would help us get the best feedback we need from users. So either creating surveys or creating scripts, research scripts, and then talking to users as much as possible, coming back with this feedback from users and trying to build out insights from this feedback, and ensuring that whatever feedback we get from users is kind of translated into our roadmap and kind of translated into what we are looking to build. So it kind of varies. It's not like it's a straight road. It just varies per time. Yeah.
Great, thanks for that. And then I will move on to Wuraula. And you are a data science or data curator, and you work in research. And today they say, you know, data is the new currency, right? I'm so interested to understand what a typical day in your life is like as a data science researcher.
Okay, hello everyone. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so a typical day. So what I do at work, I work on the research team as the data scientist. And the core of what we do, we are applying some AI techniques to score data curation better. So it's a bit of, so it's a lot of experimentation. I wouldn't want to be too technical because I understand that we have quite a mixed audience. But for example, today, sometimes, so I work in a mixed team. Interestingly, even though I'm a data scientist, my job is in Faculty of Medicine because the project I'm working on is domiciled in the Faculty of Medicine. And this particular job, I just applied online. So I'm just, you know, sometimes I understand that people looking to transition careers. Of course, I've had a lot of experience in research before this. I try not to ever lie because I understand that people are trying to transition and almost like people are fighting for their lives. So I always try to say the truth. So so I work on a mixed team. So sometimes so we have sort of a data science team and a clinical team. So the clinical team, they have questions. As an entire team, we are looking on how to improve a particular scoring method. And the way we want to bring in that improvement is by applying some AI, natural language processing techniques. So typically my job is coding, experimenting different things, that this is how we are thinking about it, and this is what we think the score will look like. And then obviously, I was recruited specifically to come work on that scoring. It's on my JD. So, but right now we have a platform that our team, we are testing. The platform is designed by someone on our team doing a master's. So we have implemented some of the ways we are thinking about our scoring on the back end. So we have a curation community who are experts. who are experts, and then they are curating data. Now we are testing that platform if they can actually use it. So if you're trying to, I understand that quite a number of people here are trying to get into their career, and it's a mixed audience. There are those people who probably had a job before, and then they are thinking, I've heard about data science. Do I want to be part of this? So what happens, like Thelma says, it's not like your job. It's like every other job. It's not like it's set in stone. Many times your activities varies. Let's say you've been trying to learn online for a while. You're wondering what will a real job feel like. So it's like every other job. You have deliverables and you are trying to put in bit. So I'm going to stop now, but that's what I do at work. So sometimes I'm coding, and then because I work in research, I do a lot of research writing and reading.
Great, thank you so much. Orina, I certainly saw this online as well, and I was so curious and interested to see that you co-developed an application that nearly broke the internet a few months ago, and I want to hear, and I think our audience would love to hear as well, the story behind this innovation. What brought this about, and what is it all about?
Okay, let me just it's an augmented reality.
Orina, your audio, sorry to pause you there, your audio is not coming through well.
Okay. Can you hear me now? Am I clear?
I can hear you, but I have feedback as well.
Okay, let me just try again. Am I clearer now?
Much better, thank you.
Okay, so I was giving a brief description of what the app basically is. It's an augmented reality mobile application that projects learning materials into your environment. So wherever you are, at work, at home, you can still project learning materials and get to interact with them in the same way that you would interact with them in a physical space. And I'm a great believer of passion and the fuel that it beholds, because excuse me, some passions usually become very apparent to you, and some usually take exposure for you to realize that this is actually something I can do, this is something that I love to do. And I think when you think of technology, the perspective that really comes into play is how wide-ranged it is. And that is true, there's a lot of technology that you could explore. And for me, that was in 2020 when I actually realized that I could do augmented reality, virtual reality, and game development. And this was motivated by something very interesting, actually, because I find motivations to be very abstract. And what motivated me at the time to get into augmented reality was I was thinking of how I'm finishing school in a few years, and there is a certain way that I have decorated my place to be a sort of my heaven down here. And I didn't want to finally leave school and not be able to experience this thing that I have experienced for 5 years of my engineering. And so while researching on how to recreate this experience is when I bumped into virtual reality and augmented reality. And that is when I was exploring it. And you remember 2020 was during the pandemic when we were all at home, and I am pursuing mechatronic engineering. And so the challenge that really came up then was how difficult it is to teach technical courses remotely, because all other courses could go on smoothly. But when it comes to these technical courses, you're not able to access all this equipment that you used to having at school. And so that is when I actually now changed my trajectory, and I started exploring the ways in which we can avail, in the same way that we're availing education remotely, we could also be able to avail lab equipment and engineering equipment, machines to people remotely. So on their phones, they can be able to now interact with, because we are able now to program controls and make it engaging in such a way that you feel as though you are actually interacting with the actual machines. So that is when I pursued it. And I think we all have different triggers that set us off. So that was mine. And I think it brought me into a path that I have really loved to explore. And so, yeah, I think passion is a really great thing. And once you discover it, because somewhere it takes some time to actually like discover. So I think exploring different paths to see which technology actually suits you is very important.
Great. Thank you so much for that. Thanks. And indeed, I must agree about passion. It is the thing that really sets us forward in a lot of cases. Thank you. Busula, you are a software engineer in your trade. How would you describe your workday at Quick?
Okay, so my regular work day at Quick starts with a daily stand-up, because as a developer, you need to let them know what you're doing per day. So we normally have a sprint in a week. In 2 weeks, we have one sprint. So one sprint for 2 weeks, where we analyze all the tasks and what's supposed to be done on the project. And from where we now allocate the tasks done by the project manager and the product manager syncing together. So when the tickets have been allocated, I have a target of what I'm supposed to do within the space of 2 weeks. And every day at 9 o'clock, I have like a brief of what I've done the previous day. Even if it is a Monday, I'll say what I did on Friday. So that's how I start my day. And after the meeting, I'll probably have some meetings, maybe to sync up with someone to ensure that, okay, this task, what do I need? What do you need? Do you need assistance from me? Do I need assistance from anybody? And from there, I basically just go down to my coding. So I do, so in the coding, I develop high quality software designs. In some days I have to review and debug code. Some days I have to collaborate with internal teams. Some days I have to perform validation and verification testing on what I have done. Sometimes I identify the practices and execute tasks in the software development life cycles. So these are some of the things that I do. There's sometimes I have to deploy what I've done so far. There's sometimes I have to consume APIs or develop APIs to be used. So these are the things that I do on a regular basis, and it doesn't have an end. It just keeps going on and on. When you're done with the task, there's another task waiting for you. There are lines of tasks already waiting for you. So yes, that is how my general day is. A quick.
Great. Thanks for sharing that. It sounds like a really busy day.
Yeah,
but I'll stay with you still. How did you get into the technology space, and what influenced your decision to become a software engineer?
That's a really long story. Just adjust yourself. I'm ready to hear the story. So
please share it.
I'm in my family, we're just 2 girls, and my dad always wanted a boy. So I was like the last born, and I always wanted to like make him happy. Imagine I was still in my university and my daddy was still praying for his son from my mom. I don't know the miracle they want to perform. So that is how much he wanted his son. He believes that a man can do so many things, but women are limited, especially when they get married. So I tried so hard to prove him that, Daddy, I can do it. So I started as a science student, and I wanted to be an engineer because I know men are always engineers. So I was a science student, and I got to university. I wanted the elect, but the 2 universities I selected, then they gave me physics electronics. Oh, I said, okay. So I had to just cope with physics elect. And then I started all through my journey. I think we were like 6 girls or 8 girls in a class of 52 or 72. I can't remember the count, but we were really, really few girls. So after we're done, during the physics classes, we had some computer science classes, which was including Fortran 77. And from there, that time we were not using computers to do our Fortran classes. Like, we just know the theory. Then once, maybe twice, I was able to have access to the laptop in school. So, because I went to a federal school. So after that, but I had the interest, and I had my friends that had a passion. And it is very good to have friends in your line, because even after school, it helps you to build that clique, and they can help you with information. So after I finished school, so many people were just saying, oh, you studied physics. Oh, you have to be a radionic or a teacher. And I'm like, what? did you know I could be a lot of things with physics? My physics is like business to almost everything, physics and mathematics. And they were like, I don't know, there's no way I can help you. And I'm like, okay, what can I do? So after my service year as a Nigerian, you have to go for your NYC. After my service year, I got in touch with a friend of mine that we finished together. That one was a guy. And it was like, if you don't mind, I know of a school, it's computational intelligence school where they are teaching coding. They will not pay you much, or they'll just give you TFE to just go and go. And I said, yeah, so I don't mind. It's just because I know that when we did Fortran, you had a B, so I know you like computers. I said, yes, yes, I don't mind. And that was how I went for the class. We did it. After 6 months, they were like, I left Akure, came to Lagos for the class. You know, I was supposed to have 3 months. After 3 months, if you're successful, you go to the next 3 month stage. After that 3 months, you now do internship. I told everybody that I was going for 3 months course because I didn't believe that I could move to the next 3 months. So I just took my bag. You see the small bag that I carried? So I came 3 months. I moved to the next 3 months. After 3 months, I did internship. From there, I was able to get a job. A friend of mine called me again that there's a job at Fidelity Bank. Hope you don't mind. I said, I don't mind. And so I went again to Fidelity Bank as a software developer. And so that was how I started my career. So it has just been like a transitioning of, I think, more of friends, just good friends that were able to, you know, put me through. And then just because of the zeal I have and how they know who I am, they're able to help me with the transition. I hope I've not gone beyond my time.
No, not at all. Not at all. But that is such an amazing story. And there's so much to learn from that. You know, also the network of people that you had that knew your skills and you were able to, you know, to leverage those opportunities when they showed up on your door. That is amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I'm going to move to Thelma. I'll come back to you now. I want to hear more from you in a little while, Busala. Thelma, just coming back to you. I mean, product design, that is an interesting career also. What influenced your decision to go into product design? And how did you do that using technology?
Okay, I think my own story is kind of different from a lot of, you know, designers who I've heard from. So basically, I used to actually, when I was in school, I studied computer science. When I was in school, I used to write code. I used to do more of front end, and I didn't want to continue that path. So I wanted to go into makeup artistry for in the entertainment industry. So I was good with colors. I wanted to go via doing that, communicating roles using people's faces, using makeup. But then I finished school, and then I went to this hub somewhere in Nigeria to do my compulsory NYSC. So during that whole year, I worked in a technology hub, and during that period, I was writing code still until the hotels.ng internship came along. And during the internship, we get tax on design and then coding. So there was this design tax, and I decided to try it out. When I tried it out, there was just this high bar for people who passed the design tax. So I was among the first 5 to pass it. I was very shocked because I didn't know that this was design. I didn't know that there was something like this. I used to do front end and I used to manually do my designs. So I was only aware of graphics. So it became something I started trying out on a day-to-day. I started trying to do it myself, trying to figure it out using the community I had. We were the design community in Nigeria then was really young. We didn't have a lot of designers. So just using my community to kind of build out these skills, ask questions and get feedback and all of that. That was kind of how I moved from front-end development and trying to be a makeup artist into becoming, into starting a career in design. And thank God for the community I had in Uyo then. They were able to encourage me. They were able to give me the opportunity to grow and also help mentor other people while I was still starting out. So that was a good growth opportunity for me. And yeah, from there, I moved to Lagos and joined the company as a junior designer. That helped upskill me a lot more. So I was able to spend about 3 years at the company to grow my skills and grow into a more mid-level to senior designer. So yeah, that's that's kind of how I got into design.
That's great. That's great. I'll stay there still with you. I mean, when I looked at your career profile, sure, a lot of hard work that must have got into it. Determination, consistency. I saw companies like Softcom, Treadford, Robotics, and I think Flutterwave in your profile. That's an amazing repertoire of organizations that you've worked for. What are some of the skill sets that you've had to learn and harness in order to progress such a rich career journey?
For one, I would say being able to, aside from design skill, which is kind of having an eye for detail, having, you know, the ability to have empathy and all of that. I think another good thing that helped me forge my career to the next level was being able to lead initiatives, being able to find opportunities within the companies that I work at to take up initiatives and kind of lead it down to when it's completed. So if I see a problem, not just necessarily something that was assigned to me in my project space, but also something that I think that could be improved in the process, I can take it on and lead the initiative down to the end. But when it comes to nitty-gritties of design, I think majorly is, regardless of how people downplay visual design, I think visual design is very important because when people look at something, it gives them the first impression of your work. So people are very, especially when you're starting out, people are very interested in how the visuals look. And then you start building the other core skills, which is user research, being able to speak to users and actually get the data you want. So that's something that I learned hands-on as I journeyed from one company to another, being able to prioritize research and get feedback from them and ensuring that this guides the roadmap of what we build.
Great, thank you for that. I'll move on now to Wuraola. I saw somebody saying Wura on the chat, so I'll stay with a shortened name. Is that correct? Is that okay?
You're doing Wuraola just fine.
Okay, okay, good. Currently, you are teaching data science in Yoruba. That is very interesting because I know certainly even here in South Africa, there's not a lot of technology being taught in the local languages. So for those that are on the call, this is native language to the Western people in Nigeria. How did this initiative start and what was the inspiration behind such a creative innovation?
Well, I'm playful. We should start from there. I'm quite like, I'm always goofing. But in summary, I'm teaching more than data science in Yoruba. Let's just say I'm teaching tech concepts in Yoruba. And the summary is I'm great at speaking Yoruba and I'm great at tech. So it's just, that's the simplest answer. But if you want the, so I was just goofing.
What are the challenges that you have faced then in this initiative?
Oh, well, teaching in Yoruba, like I said, I'm a native speaker. In fact, if we are friends, that's probably what I speak the most. I'm like that annoying friend, always, speaking Yoruba somehow. I'm sure Thelma knows people like that. Why are you always speaking Yoruba in this Lagos? I'm one of those people. But and then I'm great at data science. And then maybe I'm going to give some tribute to pharmacy. As a pharmacist, I usually joke. I've tweeted about it many times that older people loved me as a pharmacist. In fact, when I was a pharmacist, older patients, they used to wait for my line because I don't know where I found the patience, but I just have it. I'm not sure kids loved me, but old people, grandmothers, grandfathers, they just always wanted to talk to me. And then I always just joked. And then I said, okay. I think the first video that kind of went viral was introduction to artificial intelligence. And of course, it's what I do. And like I said, I'm great at the board, so why not? I was just goofing, but then it just went everywhere. It just went everywhere. And I'm playful, but it's not like I have a lot to say to many people one-on-one, and but it just kind of went everywhere. But what's challenging about it? Um, scripting is difficult. Of course, it's not like for example, I'm a LinkedIn learning tutor for AI courses, but so I always have to like script for those type of official courses. But for Yoruba courses, it's mostly me just scripting the main point and subtitling, because the first two videos I didn't add subtitles because, but now I've had to learn how to add subtitles, and then I realized that they used to add the frame by frame more. Like I have to like I started learning how to use the visual editor, and then I'm like, this person will say, I said, no, I'm not doing podcast, so I'm not setting up equipment, but it's pretty nice. It's and then I think one of the favorites is people who work in tech that say, oh, my mom now understands what I do at work because I shared your video. And then I always say, those people, they owe me money because I finally explain what you do at work, because quite a number of people says, oh, they have parents that don't understand what they do, and then it's just a journey. And I always say this, quite a number of people assume that the most people watching are people who don't speak English at all. But that's not how it works. Quite a number of people watching are people who speak English at all. In fact, one of my biggest platform in distribution is LinkedIn. I remember the first couple of videos that I shared, someone was saying, he thinks this thing belongs on Facebook, but I can't undo more than 2 social media. I don't have a lot to say, like I said. So yeah, so that's how I started. And then I just decided that let me be your first tutor for computing concepts for career options in tech. I've talked about a lot of career options that people can do, because many of those things, they are not genius. It's for people to be aware and to be part of it. I keep trying to bring it back because I understand that this setting is for people. Maybe you're thinking of changing careers, you're thinking of transitioning. And I always say, even to women especially, it's tempting for you to say that you have a special passion, but if you're doing it for the money, please do it for the money. Just ensure that you're great at it. Okay, you can cut this out. It doesn't sound altruistic, but please, these skills.
Thank you for that. Thanks. That is such an amazing story. That is, and you're quite right. Even today, my mother tells me that she does not know what I do. So you're you're very right.
Well, I had subtitles. Quite a number of people who are not Yoruba watching all over the world. People are watching from everywhere. Sometimes when I see the YouTube analytics, it's pretty cool. Like, but now I had English. Maybe your mom will find your job there.
Amazing, amazing. I'll stay with you still. And the last, somebody just popped out, love a career in data science. Here, my chat, I'm seeing my chat as it pops up. And I would like to know what influenced you? You were able to do so much with your data science career, as it sounds, from research to the work you've done in your job, but also the teaching that you're doing through your YouTube channel. What influenced you for a career or towards a career in data science?
I got into tech data science by chance. In fact, I'll say if someone knew me 7 years, 6 years ago, I wasn't one of those people maybe in school that people will say, oh, I'm techie. I wasn't. Of course, I had the laptop, but it was mostly for few class presentation and maybe some movies. So, I've always been kind of open to trying other things outside of tech. And then I remembered my NYSC year. Before NYSC, I used to read job descriptions. I just found it quite interesting. And then I just used to read job descriptions. I had this app, and then I was applying everywhere. I was thinking, should I give consulting a shot? So I was everywhere. So if you're everywhere, it's pretty normal, because I know people get scared when they're everywhere, because some people seem to have it all together, but the truth is that it's pretty normal if you're trying to figure out what to do with your life. And yeah, it's pretty normal. So, and then it's tempting to want to have somebody to tell you exactly what to do. I know quite a number of women, but I was just there. And then one day I saw a particular job description, and then I said, I can do everything on this list. I said, the names are different. It was a data analyst role. I said, the names are different, but I do all these things as a pharmacist. Like this thing they are describing, I can do it. Like as a pharmacist, I've been forecasting. Like, I've been forecasting per season. We know that people will start coughing, that type of thing. Then we stock up on this. We know that the season is changing. We reduce the stock because that's what happens in analysis. It's just businesses asking why. If they ever recruit you as a data analyst, as a data scientist, the value that they want is that they want to make decision with their data. And then, as a pharmacist, we know that around this time, pharmacists that work in certain places, you know details like these are the type of snakes in our area, and this is the type of antivenom that works. So as a data analyst, as a data scientist, let me just take the two together. Those are the type of questions that you answer with business data too. Why is, let's say you are on a company, I know quite a number of people make dashboards. It's just one of the tools. There are several tools, but if there's a section you are wondering, why is it that people in this area, they prefer our competitor? It's data. Somehow you've been working with data. You can't avoid it. And then the only thing I didn't know on the list was SQL. And then I decided to Google what is SQL. And then I said, this thing, there's data somewhere and they want to get it out. I said, that's pretty insane. If we put data somewhere, we want to get it out. And then I just started learning SQL. And when I was learning SQL, I guess an option popped up for Python. And then I'm like, I usually kind of just think that coding is for maybe people that have color sense and website. Of course, I don't have color sense. I don't have any of those talents. I don't. And then I just decided that I think this data science thing is interesting. And then I just went all in. I always tell the truth, like I said, because quite a number of people, my DMs are a mess, but I try to answer as many as possible. So I decided to go all in because you must be aware that you're going into an entirely new field. You're not dull if you don't understand the conversation. The first thing that I will tell anyone learning is that the first goal is to understand the conversation of your field. There are things product designers that talk about. There are those languages that, so that when they are talking on Twitter and those things, you can connect. You can say, Dorothy, she talked about AR, VR. There are technical terms that, they are industry central. If you want to learn fast, it's important that you understand those conversations, and that should be your first aim. So, so typically, let's say, oh, you like data science. The first goal is what is data science, and if you are learning from scratch, you probably want to read at least 20 articles, people giving different perspectives, because that is the gift of the internet. You may not like how I teach, you can always choose another teacher. It doesn't make you a bad person. You may not like videos, there are textbooks. I'm a fan of technical textbooks. You should read because you're going into an entirely new field and you must treat it like that. So let's just say that I got in and I treated it like school. So that means I was learning how to code for the first time. I was learning how to do maths for the first time in that dimension. I was learning statistics for the first time. So that means that people, let's say you have background in statistics, you have a good entry point into data science already. You can just start with maybe data science for statisticians. It will bring perspective. But something that worked well for me, by the time I had started to learn, I understood health data. It's what I've been doing all my life. And then I started applying it to those contexts, and it's niche. So if you're transitioning career, your previous knowledge is not useless, because I know it's tempting to say this thing, someone did not even find job, is useless. But let's say you're studying something in nutrition. If anybody will apply data science techniques to nutrition, you're one of the best to do that type of thing. So maybe if you see it like that, it could be faster. But I treated it like school. So it wasn't 2 courses. It wasn't, no. And I always say that truth, because it's tempting to say, oh, in 2 days. And then sometimes people can cover a lot in a short time. For example, people have different level of responsibility and dedication. Let's say all of you, as you're about to start this program, because I'm making it as practical as possible, there's a learning track in class. Some people are following just that. Then there are those people who are probably putting maybe extra 5 hours into other learning content. How they think and how they are able to approach problems is definitely faster than yours. And then people have different restrictions. For example, some people are in between jobs, they can't afford data. Some people can afford data. And then I don't deny the privilege of being able to earn, because then I was a pharmacist, I was leading a pharmacy team. So I could afford whatever course I wanted to buy. some people are extremely busy, they can't afford the time. Some people can afford the time, but they are looking for who to handhold them. So for example, if you're learning what is data science for the first time, if you will be great at data science, it's important that you understand the principles of programming. Nobody's going to say, oh, just because you are switching career, or you don't need any idea of data structure, we'll pity you, just jump in between. You can't be great that way. So just know that you're coming into an entirely different field. Open your mind to that and then treat it as such, And the internet is extremely generous. You don't need anyone to hold your hands. Sorry, I'm saying this once and for all because I get a lot of messages.
Absolutely.
And, yeah.
No, but great. Thank you so much. And you also shared such practical tips about the transition, right? Because we always think that, when you want to switch to something technology, it invalidates everything that you've done in your career or that you're starting from scratch. But that transition story is just so powerful. Thanks for sharing that. Orina, I'm going to come back to you because you're also in another interesting field around, augmented reality and 3D and, user experience design. What is it like being in a field, or as a woman, being in a field around extended reality and 3D, and what are some of the challenges that you have faced venturing into such a field?
Okay, I think I have actually faced more challenges in the field than directly to me as a woman, because extended reality is a fairly new field that hasn't fully been adapted in the continent. So when we're doing augmented reality and virtual reality, sometimes it becomes really hard to convince someone that this is actually something that is capable of happening. So when we were starting out augmented reality and we were doing it for the benefit of schools, there are a couple of schools that we actually approached, and we're telling them you can actually perform a lab fully on your phone, but then it becomes really difficult for someone to actually visualize such a thing. So I think we've had to do a lot of awareness and a lot of convincing. We've had to do a couple of prototypes and to actually physically pitch this project to the people that we would want to help them with. So that has been the major thing actually. And as a woman, I think the major thing that usually comes out is when people presume that you are not fully aware of the technical issues that affect the application that you're building. So I think I have personally had to put more effort than my male counterparts. And I think if I could give particular situations, so say I'm pitching to a person about the application that we're doing, this is what it does, and they will directly refer, ask to have my male counterparts have to explain to them the technical part. And that is usually very demeaning, because now I am here, probably they're not even there in the physical space. So I am here, you can actually ask me. I co-developed this application in the same capacity as my male counterparts. So that is the only problem that I have actually faced directly as a woman. But most of the challenges that I have faced in the field of extended reality now, AR and VR, is mostly now pitching and getting people to actually be aware of this technology, because it's a fairly new technology and it's growing. And I think there is a very high benefit to being an early adopter. There are very many skills you could learn that are being adopted on a daily basis. Now, like say machine learning, it wasn't a household name back then, but then right now a lot of people are getting to learn the importance of machine learning, the importance of data science, and they're actually taking it up. And so there's a lot that is happening in the field. And I think if people were to acknowledge that right now and to actually tap in and get to learn the skills as early as now, when the opportunities start arising, because they have actually started arising, even in game development, as Africa starts to adopt extended reality in the industry sector, in the education sector, then there'll be a lot of job opportunities for them, and they can actually like give back to the community in other ways, because it has a lot of potential to revolutionize the different aspects in marketing, in education, politics, and all that. So I think the major challenge that would come to a woman is probably because you have to be really vocal and firm. And I think at this point where we are all able to, and we have the opportunity to amass as much skills as we can, regardless of our gender, then it's just incumbent now for you to take the chance and to go all in. There are very many boot camps. I think Rola has mentioned, and Thelma as well. There are so many online boot camps, so you don't actually have to enroll. So if you can enroll in an actual school, you can do that. But there are also very many opportunities online, 3 month, 5 month, and after you graduate, you get a certificate. You can actually start from there and build your career upon that. Yeah, so I think it just takes personal initiative at this point, because the industry is actually really opening up to women. So there are lots of opportunities for women specifically, and for both women and women. So it's up to you to actually be vocal and chase your dream. So if you have a dream in extended reality, in data science, just start. Once you identify your passion, I think now the main thing becomes acquiring the skills. So once you identify also the places where you can gain these resources from, then you can start moving from there and keep advancing your career from there.
Great, thank you, thank you. And you also involved in your own training initiatives. You are training Scratch programming with Taisa. What is behind that inspiration, and what is that about?
Okay, I think naturally, when you get to a point where you're facing a difficulty, you get the urge to actually make it easier for people who are coming before you. So what happened with me is that it took a very long time to actually discover what I had a passion in. So with augmented reality and virtual reality, I discovered it in 2020. That was after trying mobile development. I tried machine learning, I tried web, and there's so many things in technology. So before you actually realize your dream, some people actually go through a long process, and I think I was one of those people who went through the process. So I learned machine learning. I realized, hey, this is not my thing. I tried Python. This is not my thing. So up until the time when I actually realized that game development and augmented reality, extended reality has the capability of keeping me up at night, and not because of pressure, but because I love it. I want to finish up my projects. So I'm very motivated to finish that. And so when this opportunity came about, we came together as now university students, together with a program now called Taisa. It's from Taiwan. So their aim was to teach high school students and to make them aware of technology and to teach them coding from a very young age. So I enrolled, I got accepted. And so what we do at Taisa, we introduce now programming to Form 1s, Form 2s, Form 3s. So from a very young age, they are able to identify the areas that could interest them. If they want to get into tech, then before they enroll into university, they can actually take a course that will suit them. Because personally, I have taken mechatronic engineering, and I only get to practice very little of that, because the career path that I am pursuing at the moment is extended reality. So when we open up, when we expose them now to the possibilities that they could explore further, I think it really shortens the time for them to decide which path they'd actually want to follow. So that is what we do. We teach them game development as well as basics, because Scratch is a visual-based programming language. So at that young age, you're able to understand the basics of programming. So later on, when you realize that you want to do when you want to do either mobile application or you want to venture into machine learning, you already have a foundation of programming. So you can easily venture into whichever path, and it will be a lot easier to pick up.
Great, thank you so much, thank you. And you said a very powerful statement there that, you know, once you have experienced certain things, you naturally want to create an easier path or journey for those that are coming after you, and kudos for that. So I'm looking at some of the chats that are coming up, and the next questions I'm going to ask all of you similar question, and it's the most popular question, is around the resources and the skill sets that you can recommend for the people that are joining us on the call towards the career paths or to learn about the career paths that you have all had. And Thelma, I'll start with you. What are some of the resources that you can recommend when you're an aspiring product designer? And also just add in there your final words to the young women that are interested today on this call around venturing into the field.
Okay, so I'll start with the resources. For the resources, you can always go on, I would say take a free beginner course on maybe Coursera. There are a couple of, I think there's one introduction to, I think UI UX or HCI on Coursera is very free by Georgia Institute of Tech. I think I'll find the link and share it. That was one course that helped me understand some things. Then there are a couple of courses on LinkedIn Learning by on LinkedIn Learning and Udemy by I can't remember his name, but he's a really good visual designer. So if you're starting out, I'll definitely recommend his courses on Udemy and LinkedIn Learning, so you can take a stab at that. Once I remember it, I'll share with the host so that they can attach it. Next is, sorry, give me a minute. Next is final words. Yeah, so for final words, I would say start from where you are. It might look like there's a lot of information out there and you don't necessarily know where to start. But what I advise people is try to take one course. And once you pick one out of everything that you're seeing, pick one, take a stab at it, start learning it. And then gradually, if you're not feeling the course, you take a pause, take another one. If you're feeling it, then you go on with it. If you're looking to start out with design, I would always recommend starting out with Figma, trying to learn how to design on Figma, because I figure that when you try hands-on designing on Figma, it helps you build your work, it helps you feel inspired, and it helps you have an experience of what you're doing. But if you keep taking courses, you might just not necessarily get at it. So I love practical learning. So I would advise everyone to start out with practical learning. Get a Figma profile, go on YouTube, pick a course, a crash course on Figma, learn the basics of Figma, then take a design you see on Dribble that you really like, take that design and go and replicate it on Figma after you've understood the basics of Figma with a crash course on YouTube. So that's what I would usually recommend as a part. So take that part and then keep sharing your work. Share your work on Twitter, share your work on Instagram, share your work everywhere so people get to see what you're doing and give you feedback. I would not advise people entering others' DM to say, oh, I want you to be my mentor. Try to utilize communities like Figma Africa community. They have like this community and communities like this. I don't know how the community here work, but leverage these communities to find people who are advanced and share your work. I know what Figma Africa does is it gives them this avenue to share their work and get feedback from others. So when you share your work there, you have the ability to get feedback from people and you can keep iterating. From there, you see someone who is interested in you and you just keep DMing them. That was kind of how I got mentorship and using the Figma Africa community to grow my skills. So yeah, those are my final words. Network as much as possible. Go for tech events, network, introduce yourself. If you need to grow, you need to be able to network and try to get maybe an internship role at a company. Getting an internship role or a junior role at the company helps you grow faster than someone who is freelancing or trying to learn on their own. So yeah, that's it for me.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that advice. Musala, from your side, what are the technical or soft skills that you would recommend aspiring software developers to go after, and what are the resources that you can recommend for the path? And also, again, just your final words to the young women that are venturing into this field.
Yeah, so for me, as a software engineer, so basically the soft skills that you need you have to decide which area you want to go to. So because of the school I went to, I entered as a full stack developer. That full stack developer means you manage the front end, you manage the back end, and anything involving it. So that means we're doing DevOps, front end, back end, if you can. So some people tend to specialize in the areas that you want to go into. And if you can handle them all, good for you. So I believe that the way to learn, so actually one of the panelists mentioned it, you have to test the waters. Like, is it front end? Okay, try to learn a language. For me, my front-end language is React and Angular. So try to learn a language. Meanwhile, I started with Laravel. So after some time, I was like, the jobs that I did not encourage me to go into Laravel because they were using React or Angular, or for backend Python, Node.js. So sometimes your job tends to change the kind of courses that your path, it tends to change it. So I would encourage people, and I learn every day. I mean, every day. So not because I need it right now, but I always just, if I see any scholarship, my friends know me, I will apply. That scholarship could be for learners, but I will apply. Google scholarship, I am there. Udacity scholarship, you will see me there. Udemy, anytime there are free courses, I am there. Not because I need it, but I will always apply, and I will just do it. And let me give you an instance. There was one time I learned Angular. I just learned Angular then, and I was like, okay, oh, this is how they do it. Okay, hello world. Okay, all right, fine. How can I create? I just created just a simple page, nothing big, and I just hung it there. You will believe that after 4 years, I learned Angular 2. I made use of Angular 11 at my place of work. That is to show the gap. After almost 4 years or 5 years, I got that job. They employed me as a Node.js developer, a backend developer. I started working there as a front-end developer. For you to know that this, you have to be diverse. So YouTube, there's some instances where you even have to learn from YouTube. Just Google, how do I do this using this language? That's all you need. From there, if you will see crash courses you can watch, as one of the panelists has said. And when you check those crash courses, because really when you are starting, you don't know where to start from. I've been there. Everybody has been there. So test all those waters by first going to YouTube. What are the things that I can do as a software developer? Okay, I like analysis. What can I do in tech with analysis? Okay, I like designing. What can I do in tech with design? Just go to YouTube and type it. You will see suggestions. And that was how I started. And okay, so those soft skills are diverse, and the ones I'm doing, I learn languages and I use the languages to develop, and that's what I've mentioned: Angular, React, Node.js, Python. Those are really my area of specialization. And right now I'm into DevOps, cloud architecture. So it's just massive. You just keep growing and growing, because you'll be like, oh, this place. And another thing, when you're a software developer, when you get to your comfort zone, that is telling you to move. The moment you're comfortable within 6 months, and you need to aspire higher every day. And that takes me to my encouraging words. One, as a woman, dream big. Dream big, like, okay, how can I be Elon Musk? That is kind of dream big I'm talking about. I'm not talking about dreaming to be your local champion. No, with all due respect. And another thing, you have to be persistent. There are instances where you will reach a roadblock, like you will be blocked, you will have headache. In fact, you will remove your wig at place of work. That is how serious it will be. But you just have to, learn until you crack that code. Another one, you have to be resilient. Then you have to be very hardworking, because as a woman, people tend to look down at you that she's a woman. Don't let us give her very complicated things. Let's just give her a small task. If that is what you're doing, you will not grow. So you have to make them, challenge them to give you bigger courses, to learn bigger tasks. You read overnight. Sometimes you will not sleep 3 nights just because you want to achieve something. So yeah, and you have to have good friends. When you have good friends, it builds your clique. You grow with them. They inspire you. And another thing, join groups that will help your dreams that you have to grow. So imagine if I can't even name the number of groups I am on. Is it for jobs? Is it for scholarships? That's where I get my scholarship. They just post it. Oh, this is another scholarship. One group to join is Google. There's another one on Facebook for React. There's another one if Angular something. There are always groups. Just go to Google and type any of the group you want. Just it will bring it out. Any course you want, just type it. You will see the courses there. And then another thing, don't burn bridges, because I've transitioned from about 5 jobs or 6 now, and I can tell you that 50% of it I was introduced to by my friends from my previous places. And be very smart, know when to jump, know what to do at the right time. And how do you know what to do at the right time? You have to keep reading. That takes me to my next topic, which is learn, unlearn, and relearn. Don't say that I have known this thing. The world is waiting for no one. It's running and jumping. If not, you will just be a local champion. What is happening? Before you know what's up, Angular is already having Angular 13. If you are saying you're still on 11, excuse me, you are already behind. The new people coming behind you will overtake you. So these are the things, few of the things that I have to say. I would not like to take much of your time. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Amazing. You said one of my favorite phrases as well, learn, unlearn, and relearn. Absolutely, I believe in that. And Rola said this earlier as well, that the internet is generous. You're mentioning so many resources from the internet as well that people can leverage. Those are all great tips. Thank you. And Rola, coming to you, what are the resources for an aspiring data scientist? Really hot career path right now. What are the skill sets and the resources that you could share with our young listeners, and also just some inspiring words?
Okay, the most important skill is curiosity. Quite everything is by principles. For example, my primary programming language is Python. If I ever need to learn any other language, the principles are similar. I'll be looking for the variable names. So you don't want to be that person that you don't understand the principle of analysis, but you know pandas is
Am I the only one that has lost Rola?
only
it seems we can't hear you. We have lost your connection. We'll come back to you. There you are.
Yeah,
Thank you. Welcome back,
Dorothy.
Okay, let me go on to Dorothy, to Orina then, while we wait for her to come back. Again, the same questions. What are some of the resources that you can share with aspiring extended reality developers, and some of the final words of encouragement for those that are looking to venture into this field?
Okay, I'm a very big champion of project-based learning. I think the thing with technology is that it keeps revolutionizing, it keeps changing, just as Busola has said. So you learn one thing today, and by the next month, things are changing. So with extended reality, I think the best way to learn is Unity Learn, which is what I used myself. So it has project-based learning. So it teaches you how to design, how to arrange your work. It also gives you tips on how to do your research, how to do your user testing, so all that. So, and if you want to do now scripting, it starts from the very basics, from the very beginning. You go to intermediate, then you go to advanced, and at the end of it, you can actually graduate. So it's like a course, but it's very project based. So at the end of the learning, you can also create your own portfolio. You can alter some of the projects that you have done and use them to create your own projects. So it allows you to be also very creative. So I think I will share a link to Unity Learn, but it's generally on the website when you go and search Unity, and then you go to Learn. It's just called Unity Learn. So you can now, if you're a beginner, you'll take the beginner path, you can take an intermediate path or an expert path, and at the end of it, you get to graduate. And actually after that, you can actually do a lot more projects. Apart from that, you can also do some courses on Coursera and Udemy, Introduction to Game Development, but I'd strongly advocate for Unity because that is what I have used, and I have actually recommended it to some of my friends, and it's actually very, very helpful. So I think my last words would be, there's one thing that usually really affects most women and some men, and that is false modesty. So there's a lot that you have accomplished, but you want to be very modest about it. You want to say that I didn't do all of this, or I just did a part of it, and you're not very vocal about it. And that is actually how most people get to lose opportunities, or being in a meeting and not vocalizing your ideas, and someone else project the same ideas and they get to be promoted and you don't. So I think you get to really own your accomplishments. So if you've done something, get to inspire somebody else and also own it. You can write it on your CV, put it on LinkedIn, say I did this, and then get to advance from there. Another thing is to be very innovative. So be intentional on your thinking. Wherever you are, there's someone who said you start from where you are. So if you're doing another course right now, then you can actually be intentional and think about it. Think about your space, see how you can be innovative about it. If you are in a team, make sure you are constantly advancing. And in the tech world, make sure you're also learning as well. Learn as much as you can, get to have your own ideas, get to have your own time to actually think of how to constantly improve things, because the tech world is fast-tracked. So you also can just learn and then chillax and think that everything is fine now. So once you learn, make sure you keep learning over and over again. And I think as you get exposed to more things, you also get to realize some of other things that may interest you. So you may start with a particular field, but as you move on, then you get to realize that I'm actually better suited for this other part. So I think that is how you get to now also transition careers and better yourself and get to work in a field that is more in tune with yourself, because then you get to be more productive. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you. Do we have Rolla back?
Okay, yes, I'm back.
Okay, good. I would love to give you the opportunity to finish off, please.
For me, one of the most important skills is how to ask the most important question. The answer is always on Google. Even in the chat window, I can see people trying to ask the people here for specifics. I understand the temptation to want to be handheld. I get DMs, it's overwhelming, but then people are not asking the most important questions. It's from people, come and teach me the basics of Python. No, I can't teach you. Millions of people have taught that online. So you want to be that person that learn by principles, and then you are flexible with tools. For example, you've been working with maybe spreadsheets and Excel. Quite a number of people know a few things in spreadsheets and Excel. Understanding tools and principle means that you know that, let's say, that same calculation, you want to do it with Python. The question you're asking Google is how to split strings in Python, because you understand from Excel that this is a string, this is a variable, this is what the formula is. So there are tools that, for example, there are many visualization tools. There's Power BI, there's Tableau, there's the one by Google. There are many other ones. The goal is to visualize some of the best of your insights, and many things are similar to fundamental. So I'll say your softest and the most important skill is knowing how to ask the right question, and that's what you should. And then the second thing is how to distill important knowledge. What I mean is that, for example, right now, myself, I'm learning some new concept as part of work. Typically, what I do when I'm learning new concepts is not for me to come to Twitter and I say, this thing is hard though. Some people, they are, no, it's, the first thing you go for the fundamental course, I'm not really feeling this particular teacher. That means you're open to learning with textbooks. Many times, if you say, I've been on this data analysis and data science since 2018 too, me too, I've been on it in 2019, why am I not picking? Why is it? It's because you are doing the barest minimum. If you tell yourself the truth, for you to, if you're given an hour per week, you can't achieve any form of mastery that way. There's no you can be great at it. For the mere fact that you and someone, you're starting this tech for dev program, or I guess this is the beginning of a boot camp. But the mere fact that you're starting together, if someone is putting 8 hours of intentional study per day, and you just want to be that group member that we've done it, I can talk, you can't be great. And the interesting thing about tech, and why I encourage people who want to do it to give their best, is that it improves your range of options. I was a good pharmacist. I enjoyed being a pharmacist, but the things I've been able to aspire to in the past 5 to 6 years, they are on a totally different level, and tech brought that. So, I'm totally in, and all the speakers, they've been on it. Dorothy, she talked about the false sense of what did you call it?
False
Humility.
modesty. Yes.
False modesty.
Yeah, it's not valuable to you. The goal is to be good. In fact, the goal is not for you to be the girl that they like at work. It's tempting to want to be, of course, don't be abrasive and be that team member that is not useful, but your goal is to be a master at your work. When you're being referred to, when you're being thought about, the thought is not like, she used to bring us ice cream and ketchup. The thought is that when they're talking about you and the quality of your work, it's not that, she used to do poo, they want to do thin little, they need someone. You're now doing crew, 7 meat pie. No, that's not what we are sending you to do. The goal is that, we have you as a DevOps lead, we have you as a data science lead, we have you as, whether you are lead or whatever, you are the product lead. They know you for great designs. Like, on that mastery, Busala was talking about Elon Musk. Me, I don't like, but I understand what she means. Like, let it be on the go. The truth is that, let's even say you're Africans, and maybe in your house they want you to marry. You can't marry more than 2 people in a lifetime. So you don't need to be nice. Okay, don't let me say more than 2 people. People do more, but I'm just saying that just mastery. That's the goal, because it works. It's a universal language. People are leaving the country. I left the country because of tech. So the goal is mastery. That's what I would say. The goal is mastery. And if you're trying to earn better, you want better for your kids, you want better for your career, it's okay. It's okay to want to, I'm putting in this 6 months of intense study, maybe 8 hours per day. There's no way it won't show. 8 hours of structured learning per day. I know some of you want specific courses, but what I would say is that if you're learning for the first time, or you're stuck in the tutorial route, many times the goal is usually to go for a structured end-to-end course. For example, you want to, let's say you want to do an NLP, it's good to go for a structured end-to-end, and to have it at the back of your mind that a single course will not fix this for you. You are learning an entirely new field. So even though we have the privilege of technology and the internet, that you don't have to go to school for 5 years or for 4 years, it doesn't mean that you think that, this product design, I've known it in 2 weeks. You don't have any idea of the lines, the grid, the things that are looking well. You don't have an idea of why they work the way they work. So my last message for you is to be obsessed with mastery. Mastery, it's a universal language, and it's to open doors for you, and not to be asking questions like, they mentioned one particular course, that's the only thing I want to do. The internet is too generous for that. I'm happy I can see someone talking about an accountability partner. You can choose one. If your partner is not useful, ensure that you are using Google. I want you to be great at this. Your eyes should be on that greatness as they are looking at it. Those roles, be reading the job descriptions at Google. The people they are picking, what exactly do they know how to do? That's what I want. Don't be sharing meat pie or be opening teeth. Okay, be pleasant, but you get, I'm pleasant.
Thank you so much. Thank you. That is amazing. And somebody said that we continue to learn ourselves, and listening to the panelists here today was amazing. One thing that I definitely got, I've got it in 2 forms. Everybody on this panel is a hard learner, so they do not take learning for granted. They put so much effort into the learning. Urola calls it mastery. Somebody referred to as learn and want to exceed Elon Musk. Learning clearly is something that has gotten our panelists far and where they are today. Another thing that has come out was, do not be stuck on one thing. try out a number of things, test the waters. Maybe today you hear of a certain development language or a career path. Go test it out. If it's not for you, move on to the next thing that will grow your passion in the technology industry. But really great learnings from our panelists. I cannot believe that I thought an hour was enough for this conversation. But with that said, I've also seen some of your amazing your comments on the chats. I think BK saying my eyes were open and appreciating the insights around data science and augmented reality. There's a lot of information being asked around the courses that you can take up. I saw that there are responses that have been written in the chat as well. So look out for the entire chat to get responses to some of the questions that you have already asked. At this point, we will pause for question and answer. And Toyin, I'll ask you to come back and just help us moderate the question and answers a bit. So for those that are perhaps already answered on the chat, find your answer there. But I would like to give a few minutes to any questions that we may have. I'll go with the first hand that I see. I do see Margaret Oluwadare. You have a hand up. Please come off mute and ask your question.
Okay, hello?
Hi, we can hear you.
Yeah, okay, good evening. This is indeed an insightful session. And when I was listening, I didn't get the speaker's name. She mentioned something of volunteering for, I think, is it a Japanese or Chinese organization that teach coding to college students. That's one of my job role currently. That's one of the things I'm doing. I'm a volunteer for a consulting, an education consult. So in my role, I actually teach. I brought up the idea, is a passion I have in me. I brought up the idea to teach college students, but I've been having a little difficulty communicating, like the whole concept of the technology aspect, the coding, to the management, to adopt something. So I wanted to ask them, like, is there a way one can easily do that? Because the society we find ourselves, a lot of people don't really have this technology knowledge, and so when you're speaking, it looks more like a vague, like you're actually painting a white elephant. So I really want the speaker to throw more light on how that went about, and so that will actually help me too in my job role currently. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Margaret. I think that question is to Orina. She is working with TAISA on the Taiwan initiative that she mentioned. Orina?
Oh, yeah. If I got the question right, she's asking me to explain what exactly we do at TAISA. I had lost my connection.
Yes, there's an element of that, and she wants more information on how she embarks on that.
Oh, all right. I think with the education sector, there is a lot of bureaucracy that goes into now, like getting permissions from your local authorities. So that is what we did with TAISA. So we have permission to teach in our local area, and now after that we got to approach, because we're teaching high schools with TAISA. So we got to approach high schools. Once we got their consent, then we got people to train. So we took university students as coaches. So those are the people that get trained to now go back into high school and share what they know after they graduate. So there's a training that goes on at the beginning, and once you qualify from the program and you're verified that you're able to teach, that is when you're now released to the high school that you go teach. So we have, we usually take about 3 to 4 months at the school. So we have a course that we follow. So we start with the basics. Now, considering these are people who have never gotten to interact with programming before. So what is programming? We expose them to the possibilities that they could explore with programming. And once they see the importance of programming, that is when we actually now take them through the course from beginning to the end. And after that, they also get to a competition. The different schools in the area, they get to a competition where they showcase their skills, how good they've gotten. And after that, they also get to graduate from the program. So that is how we usually conduct the process.
Thank you, Orina. Margaret, I hope that answered your question. Orina's details and the LinkedIn profile is on the chat as well. If you wanted to DM her for more information, that would be great. I see the next hand is Nafisa.
Okay, hello, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, my question goes to the data side. I think Wurola. I'm currently trying to transition into data science. I'm taking a couple of courses and I'm also on the Women Techsters Fellowship. And then it's been really hard because I'm a new mom. So I just want, I don't know, maybe I know she said we are looking for people to hold our hands and all, but I just want her to just give me like, I don't know, maybe a guide, a plan, I don't know, something.
That's great. Wurola, that question is for you, and she definitely does not believe in what you said. So let's hear what she has to say. But I think she will have pearls of wisdom.
Oh, well, I should give a caveat about holding hands. If I attempt to, I'm never going to have a life. I literally get thousands, not hundreds, of such requests. But let me share from the perspective of the goal. The goal is first to understand conversation. If many things are very difficult, it can be you learning new things, but it shouldn't be super difficult. Like, there's the learning curve of, I've not tried this before, I'm trying to learn this concept. Many times from what I know is because you don't understand some fundamentals yet. Because I understand that quite a number of courses, maybe quite a number of learning paths. It's not like anyone will say, oh, this is data analysis. These are some of the programming principles. You're probably starting from, this is Python. This is a Python list. Nobody's talking about the fundamentals. But again, congratulations on your baby. And I like women who want to earn more. I always do, because you should. Yeah, it's good. It changes everything. So what I'm going to suggest to you is that it's not, I understand that quite a number of people with the Nigerian maybe with the educational system, you assume that you're supposed to memorize anything. The goal is not to memorize, it's to understand the principle. So let's say whatever course you're saying, they said import this from pandas, and you don't understand what that import means. The question from that particular session is that, why are we importing? Where are we importing from? The moment you figure out where you're importing from, why are we importing, you will understand a bit more about maybe what libraries are about and what are maybe programming interfaces. So I would say the reason is extremely difficult is not just because of your schedule, which I know it's probably a lot for you right now. It still means you don't understand some fundamentals. So let's say, like I said, let's say you're importing, you can decide to ask Google, why do we import programming libraries? And then I know there's usually the question around maybe Python and R. I would just, well, this is unprofessional, but you can just start with Python rather than R. Did I answer your question, Afisa?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for
and
that
then
guidance,
another thing, I don't share a specific learning platform because your goal as a professional will be to know where to ask a question and how to find knowledge. But another tool that may work for you, sometimes some of the learning platforms, they have like an inbuilt maybe an ID or something. You should know that for everything in tech, there's usually an option. For example, if you're learning about Anaconda and Jupyter Notebook, so for some people's system, they may be having difficulty setting up Anaconda. Your question should Google is that what are the options to Jupyter Notebook? It will probably bring things like Google Colab, which is easier to set up. It's like already connected to your G Drive, Microsoft Azure Notebook. So there are many other types of Jupyter Notebook that does exactly the same thing in case maybe Anaconda is not working on your laptop. So your thinking should always be that there is option for this. And that's one of the really cool things about tech. For most things that you are doing, let's say, because I understand some people's laptop, it can be quite old. So some of them you may be thinking, I don't want to install this on my laptop. How can I do it online? So those are the questions you should be asking, and Google will not embarrass you. Google will not say, why you're asking this question. You can just, you can just keep checking. So if it's extremely difficult, it means that you don't understand what makes it up yet, which is not a crime. But the crime in my book is you not finding out.
Thank you, Raula. I think the point around learning and self-research is coming across very strong. And you're right. I use Google. I don't know how many times a day. It's not a joke. I'll pause there. We have a lot of time. I will err on the side of taking one more hand because it's gone up and down a number of times. Onemu Diakwebe, I don't know if I've said that right, but please forgive me if I butchered your name. Please give us your question and hopefully we can answer it quickly in the next minute or so before we wrap up. For everybody else, please do put your questions in the chat and I trust that we will actually be able to answer them on the chat later on.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
All right. For my question is quite simple. I studied biology in the university and I'm done. I'm currently serving NYC. But I've tried going into this tech thing. I've met tech gurus and tech professionals. The question I asked them, they give me the same answer. They keep saying if you don't have a strong suit, like if you're not good in mathematics, you cannot actually do data courses or do tech courses. So I'm asking, are there other tech pathways where if you're not really good in mathematics, you can actually flourish as a tech person?
Okay, I would like to ask you a question, Umo Koro. So this math that you've decided that you are not great at, what type of math did you see there that you've decided that you are not great at? Let's start from there. Was there a particular topic? Let's just keep it open. It's
okay,
in-house.
okay. All right.
So was there a particular topic in math and then you just said, no, this is not for me, and then we can take it from there?
Not really a particular topic, but I wasn't good with algorithms in my first year.
Okay.
Yes.
In your biology first year, you felt it was difficult, right?
Yes. And it was just like an introductory course, and you didn't have to do it in 200 levels, so I just dropped it and did more of chemistry.
Okay, what I would say about the phobia for math, for example, I studied pharmacy and it's not like we did a lot of math, but then in my work, I do a lot of machine learning, I do a lot of that. It's not like I usually have to write the algorithm from scratch. There's something interesting about tech. Quite a number of things have been implemented in libraries. So that's why if I'll come out straight, I'm going to say, Umakoro, you've not researched enough. You sound very curious, and you've been asking the gurus. I typically, I remember Thelma too said, this thing of sending DM mentors. It's nice to have a mentor, but the goal is not to ask the guru. It's for quite a number of people, they have a lot of requests. For example, now you've not tried this particular type of math before you decided that it's difficult. And then the math is not like, for example, most of the machine learning that I do, it's not like, oh, I write the algorithm from scratch. No, quite a number of things have been implemented in library, and I just have to pip install. So it's I'm going to say, it's good for you to understand what is running that math, which is one of the best way to learn. But don't run away without giving it a shot. Because you've not given it a shot, if you come out plain. They are just assessing, because another reason why people act like you're doing, people don't want to lose at all. Like they just want it to be straightforward. Like I want to do data analysis. This course, by the time I do 2 or 3 courses, I want to be a data analyst. You can be great at it that way. But give it a shot. And I hope you do.
Oh, I definitely will. Thank you very much, ma.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the insightful conversation. Thank you to our panel. At this point, I am going to hand over to Toyin again. Let me hand back to you. We have run out of time, but I think it was worth those few minutes that we ran over by. And again, thank you so much to our panelists. It was so insightful and very interesting conversation.
Yes,
Back to you.
Thank you so much, Lerato. You said it all. It's a pity that, time cannot stand still and just sort of allow us exhaust all that there is to say, right? But I'm sure that a lot has been said today and a lot of lessons have been learned. Thank you so much once again to our amazing panelists. Thank you, Lerato, for moderating this session. Your moderation was key to helping them, answer relevant questions that will be of help to the attendees on the call today. Thank you, Wuraola. Thank you, Bisola. Thank you, Dorothy. Thank you, Thelma. We're so grateful, right? And I'm sure you would, in future, like get to meet some of the ladies on this call today, refer back to this meeting today and be like, thank you, Wura, for answering that question. I did what you said. Thank you, Bisola. Thank you, Dorothy. And I'm sure you'll be amazed at how little the seeds you plant today can bear great fruit in the future. So thank you so much, ladies. To everyone on the call today, we've had a lot of questions about how they can get started in their tech journeys and how they can get into boot camps and all of that. And just for the next 2 minutes, I'm going to be taking you through the Women Techsters initiative, which is one of the reasons why we're having this Open Day event, right? Tech for Dev came up with the Women Techsters initiative in order to bridge the gap between the male and the female in the tech industry. I mean, we've heard it said on the call today how that it's not common to find women in some of these spaces, especially in the tech field, and hence that was why the Women Techsters initiative was brought up in order to have more women join the tech industry. So under the Women Techsters initiative, we have various programs. We have advocacy programs and we have training programs. Now we have 2 major advocacy programs, which is the Tech Girls Drive and the Women Techsters Open Day. The Tech Girls Drive is that advocacy program that reaches out to young girls within the age of 8 to 20, in secondary schools, in junior high schools, in primary schools. And we just sort of reach out to these young ladies and encourage them to help them take a chance on STEM-related courses. Many of you would remember your childhood while growing up. It was tough to want to go to the science class because there is that stigma that it's tough, it's too hard for women, and a lot of people decided to run to the art class, right? So what the Tell Girls Drive advocacy do is that it helps these women make informed decisions about their tech journey, just so that they are able to know what is achievable for them and that they are not limited. So we go to secondary schools, we go to school clubs, anywhere that enables us to reach this particular group of audience. Now, the Women Techsters Open Day is a virtual event that happens every last Thursday of the month. This event is, you just experienced firsthand what it's about. We bring seasoned professionals that have done excellently well in their careers, just so that they can share from their experiences. And by so doing, you get to learn and you get to make informed decisions based on your career. You get to decide, oh, I think product management might be for me because I've heard this person talk about it, or maybe data science or product design, or any of the learning track you get to experience the speakers talk about. Now we have our learning programs, and number one on that list is our boot camp. If you don't know about, a lot of people might have applied for our boot camp, right? And probably you're on the call today. The boot camp is a playground for you. It's just where you get to learn the basics of different learning tracks. That the learning track to select, right? We have 8 learning tracks on our bootcamp program currently. 5 learning tracks, sorry. So whichever learning track you select, you get to learn the basics, what you need to know as a beginner, just so that you can make informed decision whether or not this career path is for you or not. A lot of the speakers talked about it's okay not to have made a permanent decision yet. It's okay to be testing the waters and seeing what it is you like. So that's what the bootcamp program is for. Bootcamp program helps you to decide whether it is product management, product design, cybersecurity, software engineering, and any of those learning tracks that you would want to further in. The bootcamp is a 2 weeks training program, and it comes up almost every month. We host that for the ladies. So you might want to check us out on social media to get the link to register, but I'll be sending a link for the registration in the follow-up email, and probably I'll drop it on the chat box before we end the webinar today, just so that you can also apply into the bootcamp program. Cohort 2.2 is currently ongoing, and you might want to seize that opportunity to start from somewhere. And then we have the fellowship program. Now, the fellowship program is it takes a longer duration, right? It's 1 year, 6 months intensive training, and then based on performances and partnership available, we're able to place you on 6 months internship. So within this, we were able to take you from the beginner level down to a level where you can work, gain hands-on experience, be an intern at tech companies, at the banks, just so that you can specialize what you have learned over the period of that 6 months. And then we have the masterclass. The masterclass is the last program we offer. It's an advanced program. This is strictly for those who have already, mastered. They're already masters in a particular learning track. The masterclass is just 2 days, right? It's tailored towards a particular path in your course of study. If it's a cybersecurity, there's just a particular part in which it's going to be. We have experts who are going to take you through that 2 days. So yeah, there you have it, ladies. Those are the trainings we offer at Tech for Dev, and I'm sure that a lot of you would be maximizing these opportunities for your future purposes. So in a few minutes, I'm just going to drop the link to the bootcamp application. That is the application that is currently ongoing, just so that for those who are interested, who have not made a decision on what they want to do yet, the bootcamp is a great place for you to start. So you might want to apply. Ensure you follow all the instructions that are carefully stated in the application. You do not want to miss out of being selected for the program. And I hope to see you on the program. Yes, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us once again. And don't forget to share your learnings and experiences with us on social media. You can tag us on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram. We'd be glad to have you, spread the word to other ladies, just so that we can build a community of strong women who are doing excellently well in their careers. Until next time, bye-bye. Thank you so much to all our panelists one more time. You have an amazing evening and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.